Hello, welcome back to Silver Thread Sewing. I'm Diane. This is the last episode of hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate. So as always, thank you for stopping by my channel for a minute. I actually filmed a Friday Sews video yesterday. It was actually a twofold. It was Friday Sews and a hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate, my final make on that. But as you can tell, I have had laryngitis this week, and yesterday was worse. I sounded terrible, and you could barely understand me. And I thought with my twangy little accent that I already have going on, add laryngitis to it, and nobody didn't need to hear that. So I decided I would try today because my voice is a little stronger today. So I have got my fabric that I have been puzzled and in a conundrum about. And it is this beautiful rayon crepe. And it came from Fabric Mart Fabrics a long time ago. But now they did have some of this about 2 weeks ago. I was amazed. I think it was still in the crepe. It was this pattern. And it was a rayon. But I didn't notice if it said crepe or not. I should have checked that. But they did have some a couple weeks ago. Anyway, before I get started, I want to say thank you to Carol over at Sew Carol for starting the hashtag Fabric Wheel of Fate. It's been really eye-opening for me, and it's been fun, and it's given me an excuse, forced me kicking and screaming to make some of the fabrics that I didn't know what I wanted to do with, really. So this has been the hardest one that I have ever done as far as knowing what to make from it. This fabric is very patterned, it's beautiful, but it has all these square designs, and then it'll have areas of just the red, but they weren't big enough to do like cut the skirt so that I would have a square in front, a square behind. But I have only basted this, the skirt on this. I made a dress, and I've only basted the skirt on, and I'm thinking it could be something that I could make, possibly cut it into more parts and sew them back together in a different way maybe, and make it look a little more cohesive. I'm not sure. I don't know if I even want to do that or not, because this came out really well, and all I need to do is go back over the waist seam if I leave it this way. So I think you're going to be surprised at what I made. Yep, I made another Love Notions tempo dress out of this fabric. And let me show you. So this is it. This is the tempo sundress. Front bodice and back bodice. And for this shirred panel, I made all the little rows of stitching and then put 1/4 inch elastic through each one. Sewed them down at each side once I had gathered it up to the size of the pattern piece. And then I sewed one side and basted the other side and tried it on just to make sure that it wasn't too tight or too loose. And then I sewed that up. Now the two back side pieces pretty much match, I think. And then the front bodice. But the skirt is not, I'll show you. I'll be putting pictures in. It's really beautiful. But I like the way that the back came out a little bit better than the front. And like I said, as you see these pictures, I could have possibly cut this rectangle. I had one long rectangle of fabric, and I gathered it in with elastic. And potentially, if I had cut it into more pieces, I potentially could have maybe done something different with the pattern to make it look a little more intentional, because as it is, it just has one stripe going down through the front. But you tell me what you think when you look at these pictures and see. I can take the skirt off still and cut it differently, but I'm so afraid I might destroy this, and it's really pretty. And I even tried it on with just this pink shirt, And I think it's really pretty. It fits me really well. I will say next time I make this, I will have to lower this bust dart. I noticed it in the first version I made, but in this one, it's a lot more noticeable. Now, I didn't go by the pattern directions for the bodice of this. Instead of doing the facings, I cut an exact copy of the pieces and I lined it completely. And I will do that again. I might need to go just a ½ inch or ½ inch or something bigger because the lining does make it just that little bit tighter. But I think it's still okay. But the only raw seam in this is the one side seam and the waist seam. But yeah, I really like the way this came together. And that shirred panel, I was just really happy with. So anyway, that is my last fabric Wheel of Fate make for this time. I will probably put it away for a few weeks, and then when I get, got a few things that I want to make. I've got another pair of pants that are almost made, and I want to make a top to go with them. And then I probably will get into sewing some sweaters or more cool weather garments. But I am really happy with the Tempo dress. This little pattern is just amazing. I really find that for me, the Love Notions patterns just fit me so well with very minimal alterations, although I do need to lower that bust dart about an inch. I think that's the only alteration I would need to make to it. So again, sorry about my voice, but I do want to update you on life, even though I know this is Fabric Wheel of Fate. I did go back to the eye doctor last Friday, and did get my injection, and I did get some good news and some bad news. The good news, the shots are helping. The fluid and the swelling in this left eye is going down. So praise the Lord, and thank you for all your kindness and your wishes and prayers. I'm very grateful. So he thinks that I'm ready to have the cataract taken off, and that once I've done that my vision will be a lot clearer in this eye. And that is wonderful. And for the bad news, I don't know if any of you ever watched Hee Haw and Archie Campbell, but he would say, you want the good news or the bad news? There was always both. Anyway, the not as good news is that he thinks my right eye is getting ready to do the same thing that my left one has. So that would be turned to wet AMD, retinopathy, and all that. He looked at it and he said for me to check my little amsler grid. I'm sure y'all have seen those before, but if you haven't, and if you're having problems with your eyes, or if you're, my age or older, I'm 38 again this year for the 21st time. But if you have any need to, be sure and find you one of these little grids or print them off or something on your printer and just look at it every day. He told me to look at it morning and evening because he said, I don't think it'll be long till this eye will do the same thing that your left one did. And then I will need shots in both. But we'll cross that bridge when we have to. And, how blessed am I that at least there's a treatment. At least there's something they can do to at least hopefully save most of my vision. Now, I was a little kind of upset when he told me because this one's still not good because of the cataract, he thinks mostly. But if I can't see in this one any better than I can in this one, it's going to be hard. But I trust that they know what they're doing. I'm trying to do my part, and I know that God will do his part. So whatever his will is, I will be okay, and we will just keep right on going. So, I will be back hopefully in 2 or 3 days. I hope to come back on and show you my my pants that I'm making. And I've got a couple of fabrics for the top that I want to make. So I'll get your opinion because I already got Greg's. He chose one and I agree with him, I think. But I'd like to see which one that you guys think with these little pants. They're just pull-on pants. I used the pants pattern that my sewing buddy Joan made for me, and used that as the crotch curve for these pants. So they turned out really well, and I'll tell you about that when I show you the pants. There's no use talking about that now. But I'm happy with my dress, but I can't decide if I need to take that skirt off or just say, you know what, it's fine the way it is. It'll be a great little, if nothing more, a dress to wear around the house in the summer. Or I could wear a cardigan or a shrug over it right on into fall. It is a maxi dress, and I've not had a maxi dress since I was a little kid, so I'm quite excited. I haven't hemmed it. That's the only thing I need to do, and I think I'll just put about an inch hem in it maybe. It's a little bit long, but not very much long, just a little long. So I hope that you were surprised, and I hope you like my dress, and thanks so much for watching. Now, I'll say this on this video, as I do all the others. If you love to sew and you enjoy it and you find patterns and fabric and thread and notions comforting and joyful, and they just make you happy, don't ever give up on trying to sew. Even if you, like me, have a lot of mistakes and a lot of things that just don't turn out correct, or whatever the problem might be, don't ever give up, because as long as you sew, you'll never have time or money to get into any trouble. Just ask me how I know. Thanks so much for watching.